we've kind of hinted towards although there was a big break in the middle, the longevity of Dansette. Can you talk me through the current lineup? I wonder maybe if we can start by talking about the idiosyncratic, somewhat enigmatic short guitar player that you've got.
Keo, well, I can't praise him highly enough. Honestly, he is. When they say people are a one-off, he is definitely a one-off. And I pick him up when we used to play in Cafe Jazz. I'd pick him up, and then that short journey from where he lives in, I call it Leckwith or Riverside, wherever that part of, from there into town, we'd have conversations. We couldn't be more different as people, and yet music sort of unites us. We see the music in exactly in the same way, you know. So this is a measure of him. And I mentioned it, there's a story in the book called Heart and Soul, and really it's not meant to be just about. It's about, you know, I always say putting a band together is easy, keeping it together is hard. That's the difficulty, isn't it?
I agree with that. Yeah.
And we used to have a brilliant guitar. Well, when Pete left the band, we had stepping in for him was another great guitarist. He couldn't we had a gig in an arts fair down at Penmark Castle, and we went to play. I think it was 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 6 o'clock, something like that. And on the night before, he'd said to me, "Oh, I can't do the 6 o'clock gig. I've got a different. I've got another gig in Sprott." So I said, "Well, how are we going to?" You know, I was devastated. Yeah. So I remember going back to Cardiff, and I was sat in Chapter Bar, and I remembered that this lad Keo had come up to me some time ago and said, "Oh, I'd love to play with your band." He said, "If ever you need a guitarist, give me a call."
Yeah.
So I sat in Chapter in the bar, and I contacted Mike, who was our trumpet player at the time. I said, "Can you get these 10 songs? Can you get a tune pack together?" I rang Keo. He was surprised to it. I said, "If I send you a tune pack, I think there are about 10 songs on it. Do you think you'd be able to work through them and play tomorrow afternoon?" He turned up with his guitar. He revolutionized the band. We were looking at each other thinking, how's he doing this? And then it became a question of saying, well, we'd love to have him in the band. Unfortunately, as it turned out, the other guitarist was busy. He was happy to step aside and be the stand-in. And so we got Keo to join at that time. And he's just, you know, we love him. We love him completely. I sometimes think, does he realize how good he is? You know what I mean? And I've seen him with your band. I've seen him with the
Bluesters.
The
Bluesters.
Obviously, I've seen him with the Bluesters, with him and Sean. They're great.
Yeah. Heavy quartet.
A heavy quartet.
Yeah.
They just, well, they've split up now, but they are amazing, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, the thing with Keo, I mean, we'll talk about the other members of the band as well, but the thing with Keo, because I know him quite well, he's playing in a band with him. I've played in the band with him for years. Idiosyncratic is the word, you know. I mean, he's one of these guys, which I'll never be, who can play by ear. So he'll just, you know, he's not like he play with my band, you know, you play a solo, it'll be fantastic, and I know I'll never hear it again. Because next time we do something else, which will also be fantastic. So
that's it. That's it. So, Pete Matheson.
Well done. Yeah, I know the name, Pete Matheson. Yeah.
He's a brilliant guitarist as well. Yeah. Apologies if he's listening, but he's going to be listening. But his name went back out my head. But he was the guitarist. He's amazing.
So briefly with the other members of the band. I mean, the other one I know a bit, of course, is Jane Duke, also known as Karen.
Karen Reese. Well, she's another one. She got in touch with me. She used to be in a band years and years ago before she had her children, and was looking to join a band again. And we had a horn section, a good horn section that came together. We had a trombone player, a trumpet player, a baritone player, and a tenor player. We had 4 of them all join the band. They were all in a band together, and they joined us. And she said, "I'd love to come and play." So I remember driving down to Tontago, somewhere up that way, to met her and give her some music. And then slowly, but she came to our gig. She did one song, did a couple of songs, but there wouldn't be Dansette without Karen. You know, I mean, all right, then I'm the one who's been in the band forever, but Karen is just the thing that glues everything together. You know,
Yeah.
she's so committed, and you know, she brings the best in a room. She brings the best out of everybody else in the room. She's so loving, she's gentle, she's generous, she's incredibly kind. She's got a lot of love for everyone in the band, and she, you know, she unites everybody. You know, she didn't. There's no angst with Karen at all.
No, no.
And if she can't play, if she says she might say, I don't think I can play that, and she'll hold us, give the solo over to Lawrence on baritone. You can play anything, but she doesn't mind not being she doesn't. She's not bothered about being the center of attention.
No.
And yet, when you introduce the band at the end of the gig, she's the one who gets the biggest round of applause because she's just oozes class. You know, I can't give her enough credit, really. I just think, you know, and her and Keo are good pals. You know, you know, they just hit it off. You know, and then we got, you know, in the rhythm section, we got Baz. You might remember a band going back, way back when you were playing with Glee Club. Ruth Hurt and the Rockets.
Oh yeah. I like them.
Well, he was a drummer in Ruth Hurt and the Rockets back then.
Okay, didn't know.
And so when Trevor Reese, I mentioned his boys a minute ago, when Trevor Reese and Terry Murphy decided they just had enough of the grind of doing it every weekend, and there was no. They said, "Oh, we'll give you 6 months to find somebody else." So yeah, probably give us more than 6 months. So we knew they were going to be leaving at the Christmas. So Baz was playing with the Hendrix cover band with Glyn Knight.
Oh yeah.
And who again is phenomenal.
Wow, what a guitarist.
Yeah, amazing. You know, I'm not really that knowledgeable in terms of heavy rock. I mean, I love watching. When I've seen Glyn play, is fantastic. But Baz was playing with him, and Andy Cleary. Terry Murphy said, if you need a bass player, get Andy Cleary, is the best you'll find around here. So they were both in the band together, and they both joined together. They joined us together, and they're fantastic. You know, they've worked with each other for so long. Andy can play anything. He's one of these people, could probably be in, you know, seriously, could probably be in any band in the world. He's that accomplished. You know what I mean? But he's very much in the Bill Wyman mold. He just stands there and plays, and that, you know, you don't get any sense from him that he's loving what he's doing, but he's just so good at what he's doing. Yeah, we got Lawrence on baritone, who's very good. You know, he's very good. He's, you know, I'll set things up, but when it comes to fine tune everything on the night, you know, he'll come in, he'll get the sound right. He's the go-to person. If I say, can you get the horn pieces for Cool Jerk or for 25 Miles by Edwin Starr or some Northern Soul song that we want to cover, he's got a contact, and he said that it's £25 each. So I give him £75 and he gives me all the sheet music, and he'll make sure all that's done. So he's fantastic, and he's great for Karen's confidence as well. She likes playing alongside him. And we've got a string of trumpet players. I think we've probably had more trumpet players in the band because we got good access to people from the Welsh College. So at the moment we got Ed Burfield. He's played most of the gigs, but if Ed can't do them, there's always somebody else from the college, and they're great because you just put the music in front of them, and they'll have a cursory chat with Lawrence and with Karen, and they'll say, it's written like that, but we don't play it like that. We do this, you know. So
yeah,
and that's been the mainstay of the band now for years. But years ago, there was a guy I christened him Gary.com. He was from up near Marlborough somewhere, or Swindon, and he was in Barry on an internet date. He'd come down to Barry to meet this girl they'd met on the internet. And when we were chatting to him, he says, "Oh, I play a bit of trumpet." So I said, "Oh, if you want to," he said, "I'll bring my trumpet up." So he came to this gig we were doing at the Park Hotel in Barry, and on over the Christmas holiday. I think it was on it was on New Year's Day. And instead of playing one or two songs, he played the whole set. So we had two trumpet players there, and he loved it. And the times I've rung him and said, we need a trumpet player. He'll come all the way from Marlborough on a Friday night, drive down, do the gig, and drive back to Marlborough.
Wow.
Because he just loves the band and he loves the music, you know.
Yeah.
But he deserves a special mention. Gary.com.
Yeah. Before we head away from Dansette, musician and sort of, I mean, just a brief, a very brief answer to this. I suppose something maybe we both have in common, really. Well, I'll say what I think, and then see what you say. You know, I think I'm so lucky to play with such fantastic musicians, and I'm utterly flattered that they want to play with me. People like Sean and Keo.
Yeah, Sean, it was
just fantastic musicians, and you know, and so I'm kind of quite flattered by that. Do you feel equally about the guys you play with?
Yeah, because I don't play a note. I just like singing, and I love soul music. So the fact that I can say, you know, I might send them. If I'm being honest, I think a lot of musicians don't care what they're playing necessarily. They just they want to play drums in this band, or like Baz is going to be playing with a reggae band as well, and then if he was offered a gig with playing Hendrix again, or they just like the playing. I'm just grateful. I'm thankful that you know, I'd be able to be in a band that I had no concept of. The guy who set all the music up, sadly we're not friends any longer, but he deserved all the credit for putting the music together. But that was a long time ago. Now I could say I want to do Cool Jerk by the Capitals. I can get the horn parts. I'll send them something off YouTube or something off Spotify. By the time we come out of a couple of rehearsals, they'll be in the set.
Yeah.
So that's so lucky, because if you've got people like Keo, Andy Cleary, and you've got horn players who are dedicated, they'll read the parts and they'll listen to whatever Keo says. Oh, it shouldn't go like that. It should go like this. All I know, my big thing is pace. I can't stand it when things are too fast.
Yeah.
So I just say, oh God, for God's sake, that's too quick. And then that's my contribution. And all I got, and then they've got to put up with me saying, oh, I know we said we were going to do it in this key, but I can't sing it in that key. Can we do it in this? And then they have to change everything. But they're that flexible, they can do it.
Okay. Final thing with Dansette, if people want to find out more about Dansette, book the band, etc., is there somewhere they need to go? Site?
Yeah, well, they can go on Facebook. There's a Facebook page. All our gigs will be on Facebook.